What's going on, guys? Alex here at 14EDC, and today I am ready to do my full review on two quiet carry knives. You have the Waypoint and you have the Drift. So these are coming in, or have been in, from Kevin over at LeftyEDC. Shout out to you, Kev, for loaning these out to me. I've really enjoyed both of these knives, and why I had him send them to me, because I reached out to him and I talked to him about, which one he liked, and I asked if he could send them both to me because I am looking into buying one because summer's coming up. It's basically here, and I sweat a lot during the summer here in PA. It gets very humid. I'll be working outside practically all summer. I'm going to a beach. I'm going to Myrtle Beach with my girlfriend's family this summer. I'm going to a lake in Maryland with my family this summer. So I'm just going to be around water. I'm going to be in humid weather, working, whatnot. And I just really, I've, kind of wanted one for a while, but I've always, just not wanted to drop $300 on them. But it just got to the point where I just kind of got that urge to get one. And I had, been working a lot over the school year. I'm working over the summer, so I have a little bit more money to spend around on it, and I wasn't sure which one I wanted to get. So I knew Kevin had both of them. He awesomely sent them to me, and just like the Avant, I've had them for probably a little bit too long. So again, Kevin, if you're watching this, I apologize. But I've really enjoyed having both of these, and I figured I would, instead of doing two separate videos, I would just put them into one. I'm going to try to not go as long as I did on the Avant video. I think I went like 25 minutes on that. And I need to work on cutting my reviews down a little bit shorter in general, so we'll see how this one goes. But these are just great knives. They're fully rust proof, which is the whole kind of, awesomeness and the kind of draw to quiet carry. They have knives that aren't like completely rust proof. Like they have the Drift, or no, this is the Drift. They have the Eddy, I think, or no, they have the Eddy and LC200N too. So they have a lot of knives that are corrosion resistant and rust proof, and I think they're from the Pacific Northwest, and they make a lot of cool products. Their steel is VanX. That's another huge drawing point. I believe that they're the only production company that sells VanX on their knives, which is really, really cool. VanX is a completely corrosion resistant steel. LC200N is as well, but I think VanX has either a better toughness or a better edge retention. I forget which one. So we're just going to jump in right into materials here. I'm going to go over both knives as we go through the categories. So leading it off, we are going to go over the Drift first. So this has black G10. Their holes up here holes down here on the other side. They're up top. But holes down here are kind of quiet carries like Maker's Mark. You have a loop over style deep carry, excuse me, deep carry pot clip that is reversible, which is awesome. The wire clips are fantastic. I love that they go to the butt end of the knife. Just all around great clips. You have a drop point style blade with a choil here. You have a liner lock. The liners are LC200N, so that is how they make it rust proof as well. I think this is on washers. Both of these knives are on washers. You have a black G10 backspacer, and people, I think Kevin is one of them, has dubbed this as kind of the budget Osborne Roosevelt, or Roosevelt Osborne, Oz Machine Company Roosevelt, sorry. Which has been, basically one of the most sought after knives in the community nowadays. They're very, very popular, and I really would want to try one sometime. Maybe I'll see if Kevin wants to send me his, or Corey over Stafford's EDC I know has one. But Rosies are very, very popular, and they're very sought after. And this, if you have seen a Rosie, this kind of resembles how they look. Not 100% exactly, but basically the same overall kind of like swooping shape here with the choil. It's very, very similar. So kind of the budget Rosie here. You have a choil, like I said. It says VanX right there. Quiet carry. And there is some internal milling on both sides of the liners, which is good. And I think that's all for materials on that one. So the other one is the Waypoint. This is in a full tie version. I believe this is Stonewash, I think. They have a couple different versions on their website. Same with the Drift. They have, so for G10, they have black, green, and blue, I think. Then for titanium, they have plain tie. I think they have stone washed. They have a couple different versions of tie, and then they also have a knurled tie, which is really cool. It has like stippling kind of on it. That's what I would get if I would get the Drift. I wish I did it on the Waypoint, but I'll tell in the end which I think I'm going to go with. But for the Waypoint, they have them in G10 as well, I think in green, blue, and black. Then they also have a couple different versions of tie, stonewash like this is. They have, I have to go on their website and look, because they have like a stonewashed handle with a satin blade, a stonewashed handle with a stonewash blade. The one that has drawn to me the most is a black PVD coated body, I think, with a satin blade. That one looks really good. But this is also kind of it's like a drop point, spear point. A little bit longer of a blade than the Drift. The Drift, I believe, is like 2.95, I think. And the Waypoint is at 3... I thought it was like 3.31, but it doesn't look that much longer on here. So, but I know the Waypoint has a longer blade. So this is just, I really love how streamlined this is. Again, you have the 3 marks there, or 4 marks from Quiet Carry, kind of their maker's mark. You have a loop over style, deep carry wire clip. Awesome, awesome clip. Like I said, it is reversible. And this has a hollow grind, which is really, really cool, where the Drift has a flat grind. This is really, really thin as well. So, you know, it's not like it's some thick, you know, monster of a knife, because look at the blade stock. It's really, you know, thin in general. Comes down to a nice thinness. You have a lot of belly here to work with. But the the Waypoint has a hollow grind, which is awesome. Very slicey, very thin as well. You can see it says Van X there. Quiet Carry, if you guys can see the reflection. Here, might be able to. The liners on this are, so this is full tie. Like I said, it has the only liner on it is the liner lock. It's like an inset lock, which is cool. There is milling on both sides, so this thing is very lightweight as well. The Drift is lightweight, so I think that's all for materials. Again, this is running on washers with a titanium backspacer. Just a very simple looking knife, but in my opinion, it's very elegant looking. I love the overall shape of it. The Drift is good looking too. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a very sexy looking knife, but I think I'd have to lean the Waypoint just because I like it a little bit better. But you know, they're both awesome knives, and I've really enjoyed carrying both of them. But like I said, I'll tell you at the end which one I'm leaning towards getting. But next, we're going to jump into action. So this is a thumb stud knife, which I don't think I mentioned in the materials. So thumb flick, very, very, you know, snappy. So this is on washers, but it will, you know, when you disengage the lock, it drops right to your thumb. Then it's, you know, you have to shake it a few times, but it's very, very smooth. These are probably the smoothest knives that I've ever felt on washers, you know, since I've started collecting. Because most of the time washers, you know, aren't going to, obviously this doesn't drop free, but this thing is just so smooth. I mean, bang, bang. Like, it's just that simple. Middle finger flick, very awesome. The detent is tuned very nicely on these knives, very snappy. I'm trying to fail it. Yeah, I caught the blade. I mean, very, very easy to flick. Middle finger flick's great. You can slow roll it out, and then you can just, you know, like I said, disengage the liner lock, drops to your nail, shake closed. On the Waypoint, you also have thumb studs, but it kind of, they fit into these little grooves right here. So you just dig right behind it, and it flies right out as well. And you can see this one drops a little bit. It just depends on how you have it, because like sometimes I'll disengage the lock and it'll stay completely open and won't drop until I like give it a little shake. So it just depends. Like that one kind of was delayed, but it's very smooth too. I would say that the Drifts, I would say they're very comparable to how smooth they are. The Drift's blade might be a little bit, you know, more drop shutty. Well, that time was quick. It just depends. It all depends on how much you use them, how much you know, oil them and maintain them and break them in. but very smooth, very, I've been using that term a lot, but it's really how I can describe it, because like it's just, when it drops, it's just like so effortless. It just glides down and then takes a few more shakes than the drift does. But see, like right there, that I held that open for like a second or two before it dropped. Middle finger flicks, awesome as well. The slow roll on this is, I think, I like it a little bit better than the drift. I think the drift just maybe has a little bit stronger of a detent, and it's a little bit like snappier out of there. You just kind of have to like put your whole thumb on it and kind of just like break it out and then roll it. Where this, you kind of just, like the thumb stud's a little smaller, and it's just the detent popping out of the hole isn't as like pronounced and isn't as defined. So, I mean, it's just easy. And I'm not a big slow roll guy, but I've actually slow rolled this quite a bit when I've been fidgeting with it. It's kind of fun. It's just nice and mechanical and, you know, kind of glossy, just very smooth. So action on these 4 washer knives are very, very good. And I have, you know, obviously, because like the Avant, which I just did my review on, this thing has skiff bearings, and it's just gonna, you know, it's gonna be drop shutty and super fun to fidget with because it has bearings. But I have had just as much enjoyment out of, you know, fidgeting with these knives, and they're on washers. Just, dude, I mean, because it's just a different experience. And the fact that they at least drop to your nail, so it's not like my mini old guard, which I need to try. I want to try to sell it, but I might have to send it back to MBK. But that's besides the point. It's a washer knife as well, and whenever I disengage the lock, it doesn't drop at all. I have to disengage it and come up here and like shut it with my finger, and that's not as fun to me. Part of the reason why I'm selling it. Where these guys, at least, you know, you flick it out and at least it drops to your nail, so you get some fidget factor out of it, and it's fun. It really is. Like, I have been, you know, very happy and have gotten some enjoyment out of it, and the action for washer based knives is awesome. So next up is next up is Ergos. With the drift, just, you know, skipping ahead, both of these knives are fantastic at ergos, fantastic at carry, fantastic in general. So you have a choil up here, you know, it's just super comfortable. The blade stock is nice and thin. You have a little jimping right there. Overall, I mean, the whole knife in general is thin. Same with the Waypoint, but I guess, you know, starting without the choil, I can still get 4 fingers on here very, very easily. That wire clip, you can't feel at all. Big perk to wire clips is they're great for ergos. They're very unobtrusive. They're very basic, but they're very usable and very easy to, you know, carry and handle when it's on a knife. But it's very comfortable here. You kind of have, you know, an indent right here and then a little bit of a swoop back. And this is basically straight with a little bit of curvature. Very comfortable this way. And then if you want to choke up to get some awesome control, I mean, you're basically locked into this if you're doing precise cuts, you're doing some push cuts. The G10 is nice and grippy and feels good. I'm not the, you know, G10 isn't my favorite material in the world, but it's you know, comfortable, and it's very easy to go to work with, and it's very, very adaptable, I guess you can say. So ergos on the drift are awesome, and ergos on the Waypoint are also very awesome. You know, this is very just plain Jane kind of, you know, basically straight back here. You have an indent down here and then straight back. But my hand, you have a jibbing up here. Don't know, forget about that. But my hand fits so well with this knife. It's just, it's hard not to because of how simple it is. Anyone can pick this knife up and feel comfortable with it. And I would even say that about the drift too. But, you know, with the curvature and stuff like that, you might have some hands that don't fit it. You really can give this to anybody just because it's basically flat with an indent for your pointer finger. Like this thing, I feel almost even more locked into this than I do on the drift, just because this indent right here where my finger goes feels so good. It doesn't have a choil, but it has kind of a landing pad up here. You can choke up if you're doing, again, precise cuts, if you're going to be doing something like really, you want to be careful with. But I wouldn't do anything hard with this because you are very close to the blade right there. So I wouldn't be, hacking at stuff or doing anything super, super strenuous, because then you might slide onto the blade and cut yourself. But this titanium is nice and smooth, very comfortable to hold, very easy to hold. And this is just a great grip, guys. Like, I can get all 4 fingers on here very easily with a little bit hanging, or a little bit left over back here. It feels natural. It feels good. It feels comfortable. And that's not to take away from the Drift, because the Drift is an absolute ergonomic dream as well. I would just have to give the nod to maybe the Waypoint, in my opinion. And I'm sure people probably think the Drift's more comfortable, and there's, like, everyone has their own thoughts and opinions, and that's okay. That's why, people have YouTube channels and people give opinions, and that's how the world works. But to me, I just have been drawn towards the Waypoint quite a bit with the ergos, and just it's comfortable. So next up is carry. These things carry phenomenally well. I mean, they're not super big knives. Like, they're decent. I mean, I would consider this to be on the lower end of a full-size knife. I mean, you get like 3.3 inches of blade as compared to like 3 inches of blade. So this might be a little bit on the smaller side, but I would consider this to be, I guess, a medium-sized knife. But the wire clips just work so well. You drop it in your pocket. I mean, you have basically no knife sticking up out of there. You have nothing on here, and it's all nicely, the scales and the G10 are nicely rounded off where they need to be. I've carried this front right pocket. I've carried this back right pocket. I've carried both of these to work, I think, when I was doing security, when I was still at school. And they carry so well. Like, these are lightweight. They're, the pot clips just add so much carryability to them and ease of carry, and just lightweightness lightweightness in a knife is super important when you're talking about how well it carries. They're both lightweight. They're both just easy to carry, and I really can't say anything bad about it. They're just both a joy and a breeze to toss in your pocket. That kind of leads me into my final price point, or my final category of price point, and what I recommend these knives. I absolutely would recommend these knives. I think everybody should have a quiet carry in the collection. I don't have one, but I'm going to buy one, just due to their versatility. Like, at the end of the day, this or this is really all you need in a knife. Like, again, let's go over it. Good materials on both of these. You're talking G10, titanium, Van X and Van X, loop over style wire pot clips that are awesome. Has that fidget factor. Both of them do. You have Van X, which is going to be rust proof. You can use it in all environments. They're thin. They're slicey. They have, this has a hollow grind that's phenomenal. This has a really nice flat grind that still works very, very well. Like, these just kind of scream as like no frills, just everyday carry tools and knives, and they excel at that. They really do. Spoiler alert, I think I'm going to go with the Drift, or the Waypoint, sorry. I like the Drift a lot. Something about the Waypoint just has drawn me to it a little bit more. I think I've carried this a few more times than the Drift. And again, that is not to knock the Drift at all, because the Drift is a fantastic knife. I have really enjoyed carrying it. Ergos are great. Materials are great. Just everything about it is great. It's easy to carry. I think I like the Waypoint a little bit better aesthetically. I think the overall vibe of it just kind of fits me. I just like an all straight, skinny kind of knife. I have the Real Steel G-frame, which is, very similar to this. And I really like that design. So I think the Waypoint is what I'm going to go with. Like I said earlier, the version that has the PVD, titanium, and satin, I think, blade has really stuck out to me. I think all the titanium versions of the Drift and the Waypoint, I believe go from anywhere from like $295 to $310 in that category, and then the G10 versions of both are like $245, $250. So there's like a $50 difference between the G10 and the titanium. But in my opinion, if you're already spending that much money, just spend a little bit more and get the nicer titanium. Because if I was gonna get a Drift, like I said, they have a knurled version in both like plain tie and in a dark wash tie or black wash tie, and they look phenomenal. I really like how the knurling looks on the knife, and I really wish that they would put that on the Drift. I don't know if they have any plans to or not, so I think I'm gonna get the PVD coated one. But down the road, if they ever come out with a knurled version of the Drift Waypoint, I'm sorry, I keep saying the Drift. If they ever come out with a knurled version of the Waypoint, I think I would pick that one up too, because I haven't felt them, but they have also just stuck out to me too. So I think I made this one, you know, I'm a little over 20 minutes, so I think I did decent for having two knives to talk about, but I think they're 100% worth it because I think they are USA made. Don't quote me on that, but I know they're based out of like Seattle or Washington, somewhere over there. They might not be USA made. I might be totally off base by saying that. I'm not 100% sure, but they're just making really unique products with unique materials. Like Vanex, you can't get that anywhere else on a production knife for $250, $300. Like, that's a good price for it. And yeah, they might be at first I thought they were a little overpriced, and they might be a little overpriced for the materials you're getting, but you have to think, okay, can I get a Vanex blade and knife anywhere else? And the answer is yes, but I think just on like custom, you know, fixed blades and custom stuff like that. So what they're doing is really cool. And they also have like the Eddy, which is a little knife. The Chase, I think. They have a couple other stuff, which are cool designs too. And yeah, I will leave a link to Quiet Carry's website down below if you want to go check them out. Like I said, I think I'm going to go with the Waypoint. I don't know. I want to buy one soon because, like I said, summer's here. Or I think I said it in the previous video, but summer's here. I'm starting to work outside. The beach trip is like 2 months away, or 2 months away, like 2.5 weeks away. So just in general, I really would want to get one. Hey, Luce, my dog just came in to see me. But I really want to get one and add one to the collection, and I think it's going to be really well worth it and well worth the money. So absolutely love these knives. Thank you, Kevin, for sending them to me. They really are fantastic all-around EDC knives, and I apologize for being a little bit later on them. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. This was my full review on the Quiet Carry Drift and the Quiet Carry Waypoint. Just really great all-around knives. I said that a lot, and I know I repeat myself a lot in my videos, but try to get a good shot for both of them. Just awesome pieces. So, but thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Leave a comment down below what your thoughts are on Quiet Carry. Do you have one? Do you want one? In Vanex too. Like to me, Vanex is just a cool steel, and I'm kind of like surprised that I haven't got one earlier because, again, I sweat a lot, and it's really cool that you can just take it anywhere, and as long as you maintain it a little bit and but basically you don't have to worry about maintaining it, which is really nice. So as long as you don't just dump it in a bucket of acid or something like that, you're going to be good to go. I think Jake's even taking pictures of his on rocks near a beach and the waves crashing over and stuff like that. So just great knives. So I will quit rambling, guys. I apologize, but thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. I love each and every one of you, and I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your evening. Talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.